Today we have two-time ADCC vet Kenta Iwamoto and B team member versus Grant Bogadov, a Japanese MMA fighter who's a black belt located in Tokyo, Japan. As Grant goes for the takedown, Kenta elects to go to a front and head arm sequence. Why? He wants to control the neck and the shoulder line, right? The neck controls the spine, and if you can control the spine, you can limit and dictate your opponent's movements. Then he gets his Kosoto hook, I believe it's called, to the outside of Grant's hip, and he starts to elevate him. This is the crucial part right here, though. As you can see, mid-roll, out of all the moving parts in this video, the main two themes you should be paying attention to are: one, building hip height. How do we build better hip height relative to our opponent's hip height? Two, at a higher level, it's all about better decision making. Everybody knows the same counters, everybody knows the same attacks, everybody knows the same escapes. So how do we make better decisions based on the information we have? Grant elects to wrap his left arm around the back of Kenta's hamstring. The problem with that is he's putting himself in a dilemma. He's giving Kenta the opportunity to start to pin his arm to the ground and go into a crucifix position, right?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Grant already gave up the neck and the shoulder line to Kenta. Kenta has a 10-finger grip, so he's controlling the head. He can switch it to a chin strap, and he can also attack that right arm, right, with the Kimura sequence. So Grant made a bad decision at this point, and he's always playing catch up, right? Kenta is going to force him to go into running man and turtle up, right? He's going to force him to wrestle with him into his left. As you notice, Kenta always has better hip height. His hips are always higher than Grant's. And for your own roles, if you can get your hips higher than your opponent's hips in most positions, you're at an advantage. Grant is very fixated on this single leg, but the problem with being fixated on the single leg, right, is that he's closing himself up to all the opportunities. Chain wrestling up the body, right, going into high body locks. Or, right, bringing his left arm to that opposite side knee, right, because Kenta's right knee is pinned to the mat while his right foot is up, which means he's off balanced, right? So he can easily elect to go for some knee taps.
Fatality.
He can go for some outside double legs, right?
Hey, that's pretty good.
So he has to stop being so fixated on that single. Or, right, other options are, if you notice his right hand, right, his right hand is grabbed around Kenta's calf. If he just slides it to Kenta's heel, right, and attacks the feet, attacks the point of contact that actually touches the mat first, he can disrupt Kenta's movement even more and maybe force Kenta to start to go back to a standing position and go back to a neutral position. Or, right, he can bring his right elbow down to the mat, start to wrench Kenta's foot out while he builds from his knees to his toes, right? He builds hip height and starts to cut the angle, right? He forces a scramble in an offensive way, right? Which is going to disrupt Kenta's offensive cycle. Now from here, right, Kenta's already a step ahead. He's already pushing the head down. He's stuffing the head, right? He's building even more hip height, and Grant hasn't come off his knees yet, so he's -5 now. From here, Grant follows him, right, and Grant elects to force him into, I call it octopus, Lachlan calls it cat dog, right?
Obviously, like, Brody's trying to run me over this way. I'm trying to stop that. The first thing is, like, try and not.
So from here, typically, the main theme of cat dog is to take the back. Kenta understands this. So if you notice, Kenta's left leg is already posted out into a lunge position. He's preventing, or not preventing, but he's forcing Grant to raise his hips. Grant's going to have to jump over, right, in order to get a back take, which is going to create more space. And if you notice, Kenta's right arm, he's already hovering his right arm behind Grant's left shoelaces, the heel. So he's just going to prevent Grant from being able to generate movement. Boom, he picks it right up. Grant's so focused on the tight waist that he doesn't see all the other variables there. He's not making the correct decision rather than a technical error. From here, right, as Kenta takes inside position with his left foot, right, now he's in a strong position to start picking Grant up and putting him on his back and forcing him to chest half guard. Or he can go from an elbow hook to an underhook and do the same thing, right? Let's play it through. See, he switches. He switches to an underhook. So he just wants to put him down and get chest to chest. That's what most people are doing these days. They always want to get chest to chest.
And at the end of the day, the best people in the world force chest to chest half guard and pass from there.
Hydra's entire goal when he fought was to force guys into a bottom half guard, and then instead of passing to side control, he usually passes directly for mount, and then he either finishes from there or takes the guys back.
If you liked the video and it provided you even just a little bit of value, please hit the subscribe button and follow me on Instagram or TikTok for daily no BS jiu-jitsu tips.